24/7, I just look for my own bird. Priorities come first. A billion is my aim. I have to get it once I don't dead. I had to seek some work. Malice, I knew I was a chief from birth. If I do wrong, my mother used to be uncursed.
Yes, it is official. The return of the Finesse Podcast. Well, before it was called the Everything Finesse Podcast, but let me scrap that. This is the official return of the Finesse Podcast, hosted by your very own Robbie Finesse. I know I've been gone. Apologies for my 6-7 month hiatus just from the podcast and the media world in general. Life happens, a lot of stuff transpired. Some of y'all may know, some of y'all won't. But the mere fact is, look, life happens, you know what I mean? But I am back. I've been having a lot of stuff that I've been working on behind the scenes, including this right here, this special episode, this first episode back. And it is the best producers and mainly the best beats of 2020, 2021. Honestly, I don't even want this to seem like it's a competition or I'm pinning producers and rhythms against one another. It really and truly, this entire list right now is going to be just appreciation for a lot of the artists. That's the truth. That is the plain and simple truth. Of course, it's a list. Some people are going to be above others, and it's the best list I could come up with right now, but it's not to say that I left out people intentionally or I really think that this was so much better than that. But honestly, this whole list is just appreciation. You know what I mean? As seeing as it is my first episode back on social media like this with the podcast and everything, my ears always still to the streets. Like I tell when my ears always to the streets, always perked up when it comes to the music and the entertainment world. And just because I haven't been on social media does not mean I have not been paying attention to these guys. So honestly, we can get right into it. Before I start listing everything though and everybody and saying, oh, this body was better. Nah, before we get into any of that, I want to just give y'all like a criteria for how you even made it onto this list or how you can make it onto this list in the future. You know what I mean? This could be a recurring segment. So the first one, simply put, just how good the beat is. You know what I mean? I don't need to explain that any further. Just how good that beat was. You know what I mean? Depending on how the public digest it. You know what I mean? To me, what sounds better than the next one? You know what I'm saying? Just how good the beat is. The next one, how well the various artists perform on a particular rhythm or a beat. You know what I mean? This goes for rappers. This goes for dancehall artists. Goes for anything like that. Singers, R&B singers. You know what I mean? Just how well any amount of artists perform on it. For example, without giving away too much. Matter of fact, I ain't even calling names. I was gonna call a name, but I don't want to spoil the list yet. You give me any producer. Let me say I was a producer. You know what I mean? And I got like 7 different artists on the same rhythm. How well each and every one of them perform on that rhythm. No, obviously that don't necessarily come down to the beat. That might come down to how good the artist is. But I think if you have a handful of artists who've done well on the same rhythm, that might just mean the rhythm was that good. You know what I mean? Anyway, going on to the next point. How many artists actually did their version of the track and on the given instrumental? You know what I mean? So basically, it's similar to the last point I mentioned. Just how many artists were actually on that beat? You know what I mean? How many people actually decided, yo, that's so hard, bro? Because the only reason you ever really get on a track is because you think the beat's so hard and you want to test your skills on it. You know what I mean? The boy don't hop on a beat that I think is garbage intentionally. You know what he's saying? So yeah, I actually, that one might not be that important, but if there's a rhythm out there that 20 different men get on, you have to talk about that rhythm. You know what I mean? You gotta talk about it. The next one, in terms of the producers and not just the beats, the level of consistency that was displayed by that producer or the record label as a whole. You know what I mean? Honestly, if you've been a person who's been out there just putting in that work week after week, month after month, some people been putting out beats day after day after day. You definitely deserve some credit. Good beats at that too, not just putting out a lot of nonsense. You know what I mean? Because they got some men out there that's put beer or you know what I mean, when they come. But nah, if you've been really consistent, that's something I'm going to shed light on as well. That's the truth. I can't ever knock somebody for being consistent, even if it's not that good to me. Consistency in itself is something that a lot of people don't got. So we gotta shed some light on those artists as well, and we will. You know what I mean? One of the last points, the last point I'm gonna mention is longevity of that rhythm or that beat. What I mean by that is any rhythm, right, that basically stemmed through the entire year. You know what I mean? That means that was a good rhythm. That straight up means that was a good beat. Then the 2 3 years about it. You got saying that come out in January, that's still being played come October. That's crazy, B. That's crazy. That's almost a full year of that song being still in rotation. Like, you have to show credit. You got to give respect to anybody that could make something of that quality. You know what I mean? Whether or not that comes down to the artist or the actual how good the beat is, we don't know, but I can still mention it. So like I said, we can get straight into this list, and remember, it's not necessarily a competition. You know what I mean? To be honest, the entire list and this video is just to show some appreciation to the people behind the computers and the instruments for the work they've been putting in. You know what I mean? These things don't happen overnight. Well, some of them just get mech overnight because these men here talented as ass. But yeah, just, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a competition, bit of friendly competition. Let me call it that. So let me get straight into it. It is 10 people on this list, by the way. 10. I should have mentioned that from the get-go. But you know what? I don't have a number 10 spot. I do not have a number 10 spot. And honestly, I'm going to mention a number 10 spot, but I want to leave it up to the people. I want to leave it up to the people for number 10. That's the truth. So yeah. Right, so seeing as there is no number 10, we get straight into number 9 on this list. And that is Lex Louisi. Lex Louisi, I don't know how many of y'all actually know his name, but let me start by saying this, right? Lex is one of the most passionate and dedicated to his craft out of a lot of these people in this industry. That's the truth. There ain't many producers who want to excel as much as Lex, right? Lex is a producer, an artist, a graphic designer, even does a little bit of video editing, and so much more that he's building upon right now as we speak, right? I had to get out the way. That's the truth. Listen carefully. He's one of the few producers I know for a fact you could bring any idea to for like an instrumental or a beat, and Lex is basically gonna get you that beat damn near the exact same way you imagine it. And that's the truth. That is the truth. Anything you had in your head and you describe it to Lex, he's gonna get it. He actually produced my first single, Vengeance. I don't know how many of y'all know that, but yeah, when I described what I was looking for in terms of that instrumental, Lex basically got back to me like the same day, probably the latest the following day, and it was exactly what I was looking for. I'm not just trying to gas up this man because I know him or anything, but it was exactly what I asked for. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Between producing records for other artists and himself and doing everything on his own, like, you gotta give a credit to any man who out here doing it by yourself and has been this consistent. I think Lex on average basically drop a song like every other month, maybe. That don't got nothing to do with the producing side of things. And when I say drop a song, I mean drop his own song. I don't mean drop songs for other people, alongside doing a lot of collaborations, alongside having his own life. We forget that these men are doing this thing full time, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you gotta give I know I keep on talking about this consistency thing, but consistency is a big thing for me. Anybody that could be that consistent, I already have to give you credit for that. And then consistency and quality. If you tie consistency with quality, how can you possibly hate on that? You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's the God honest truth. And he ain't dropped the ball yet. It ain't over yet. He recently just dropped a Christmas song as well. Like, consistency, back to that same word. Come on, man. So I just want to give a big shout out to Lex for, you have to take a spot on this list. That's the truth. You have to take a spot on this list. You literally, if I didn't, you probably would have killed me. And not because like this man was holding me for ransom or something that I had to put it. Nah, honestly, you fought your way up there, and you got a lot more in the future. That's the truth. So big shout out to Lex Louisi, man. That's the God honest truth. Coming in at number 8. I almost said number 9. I forget. I leave in number 10 to the people. All right. Coming in at number 8. Corrupt alongside Dark Room Productions. Yeah, Dark Room Productions. Yeah, Dark Room Recordings. Yeah, Corrupt. Corrupt is actually, funny enough, if I'm being real serious, I probably would have put Corrupt a little higher on this list. That's the truth. But the thing is, like I said, I don't want to turn this into a competition. And again, the list is more about showing respect to the producers, not so much competing against one another. But listen, I only recently found out about Corrupt and Dark Room Productions. That's the truth. But I gotta say, I was more than impressed when I see the body of work this man got. All the different styles he just play around with, and just the catalog of, like, from dancehall to soca sounding instrumentals, then to R&B, then into some more hardware tunes. Then he's good from drill styles to, like, you know what I mean? Like, that is what you call like versatility. Then and I know like that a lot of producers might be able to do that, but to do it well is another thing. You could, like, I know a lot of men that would probably try to drill beat at me and then try R&B beat at me, and I don't mean that you can't do it. My thing is, did you do it really that well though? You know what I mean? You probably didn't do it that well. But I should mention that he's an artist as well. You know what I mean? And a good one too. Ain't like he's just willy-nilly. He's a good artist. My favorite song from Corrupt is actually Headshot featuring SK. And yeah, I know when I get saying, oh, you barely gone for a few months and come back and still talking about SK. Alright, whatever be. The reason that like the song even got nothing to do with SK. So let me get that in the clear first and foremost. My favorite verse from Headshot is actually Corrupt verse, and that's the first verse. Walk out with a gun in a hand, Glock 16 or D Smith from West Hand. Any boy this have you stinking rotten, SK pit head off on that like cotton. They're telling me that shit hard, dog. So you know, for real, Corrupt though. Back to the beats. We don't want to get too much in the music. Back to the beats. In terms of the versatility, consistency as well, but that seems like that's a given. As you can tell, consistency is a given to be on this list as well in terms of criteria. But Corrupt definitely is one of the more versatile people you will find on this list. And if you're going to check him out on YouTube, you will see what he's talking about. He don't do one type of beat, and he always experimenting. Experimenting as a producer or as a creative in general is a trait you need to have. Be able to experiment, be open to trying out new things, and you got to be able to do it. And Corrupt cover all these bases. I think he understands music, right? A lot of men don't understand music to be able to say, oh, I can try that, or I can try this. You can't say you can try something, but never familiarize yourself with the history of it, or familiarize yourself with what it really means before you go and say I can do something. You know what I mean? So for that reason alone, I gotta give it to Corrupt. I almost sell out my next. Matter of fact, look, I almost sell out my next my number 7 spot. So let me get straight to number 7. Charismatic, big man. Again, Charismatic is an artist only producer. Is he an artist as well? I don't know. He's a producer I only find out about this year. Like, truthfully, maybe early this year, beginning of this year or something. I only find out who Charismatic was. You know what I'm saying? As much as I talk about my ears to the streets, how could I not know who Charismatic is? You know what I mean? It's crazy. Y'all gonna realize that despite all the criteria I put to make on this list, like I tell you, one thing that's gonna keep reoccurring is either consistency or versatility. Reason being is because I just always imagine a scenario like this, right? Here this is. Somebody come up to you. Yo, fam, I hear you real good on production, boy. Like, I want to work with you. Me, no, yeah, for sure, dog. Alright, cool. Me, I ain't ever turned on a bike. You know what I mean? For sure, dog. The man come and tell me, alright, look, this is the type of beat I got in mind, right? I want something like this here, look. Then you as a producer realize, oh shit, I can't do that, boy. That ain't really my style, though. Then you like a big ass. Go and tell the man, yeah, sorry, fam. You could try something else, or maybe try another producer, cause I can't get that, dude. That's truth. No, the man can look at you like you tripping or saying, like, you know what I mean? Cause imagine you go to a producer who's do business and then he can come and tell you flat out like, nah, he don't want to trade out, or that ain't really his style. You know what I mean? Like, you look unprofessional, you look terrible. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, another route it could take is that you do make the beat, but if the beat is bare, like, you don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Cause no, that just put a whole smear in him. Either way, again, after this situation, but so with all that being said, the whole thing is versatility. Put your hands in different pots when it comes to creativity and different styles, right? Because Charismatic, he seemed fully equipped, much like Corrupt. These men fully equipped at understanding different styles in music. And honestly, you see Crunch Time. I don't know how many of them know this song, right? Crunch Time by Big Brother Plu, one of the biggest artists of this year. Yes, I said it. I know this podcast ain't got nothing to do with Big Brother Plu, but I just want to mention it. Big Brother Plu has been one of the biggest artists to bust in 2021. Anyway, Crunch Time by Big Brother Plu, which was produced by Charismatic. To me, one of the hardest beats of this year. The Crunch Time instrumental. I don't know what's the actual name of the instrumental, but go and check out Crunch Time and tell me if that beat. Furthermore, I think Charismatic got one of the hardest producer tags in BIM. Charismatic on the beat. Shit, it's so nice, so subtle, be like, but nah, he's definitely like much. I kind of put him Corrupt in the same space in terms of versatility. These men understand genres. These men understand how to manipulate certain sounds and everything and give you like so many different tastes, right? So yeah, Charismatic technically number 7 spot, I believe. Just I want to say I could be wrong. I already lost track of numbers, but I think that's number 7. Number 6. I want to give a big shout out to the roughest Rasta man I know up on the scene. That shit, man. Listen, My boy Shea, man, artist, producer, and more importantly, a little connoisseur. A little connoisseur, nah, I fuck her, oh, nah, I'm a guy. But nah, for real though, Shea is easily one of the best producers in this music shit, and I mean it from the bottom of my microphone cable, dog. That is, that's not a little ghetto. Pause. But nah, for real, Shea, from the bottom of my heart, Shea, I think is one of the best producers in this shit. Like truth. When I think about Shea production, the word that just come to mind is polished. That's the truth, polished. He's the type of guy that just break down this shit to a science and always experimenting. Experimenting. Remember, that's gonna be a key. That's gonna be a recurring thing. Um, Honestly, I was just about to call some other names, but I ain't call them names just yet. He's worked with a lot of artists outside the scope of Barbados, right? Shade just don't stick with Bajans, and I say that's a problem if you stick with Bajans. You know what I mean? I always say I'm just trying to show you like certain levels to this thing for you to be expanding your horizons. It's crazy. Shay is a man that you might not see his face very often, but he definitely always working, and this is like I think Shay is like full-time producer and stuff like that. I could be wrong, but that just goes to show how far he come. You know what I mean? To you, for you as a Bajan to come and do music full-time in an economy like this where to be doing music or anything artistic isn't really enough for you to pay your bills and put food on the table and do your thing. Like it's good. It's really good to see that somebody can do that. Bajans got a tendency to think that just because you're from Barbados, you should be following some sort of pattern, especially in music. Like you need to be doing only dance hall or anything, or only you can't be sounding like nobody else. Like, but what? So I can't try other things. I have to stick in the same lane all the time. You know what I mean? And honestly, I fell victim to that as well. I used to be somebody I think that, oh, you ain't supposed to sound like anybody else but a BHM. But as soon as I start getting into music, I quickly follow to that mindset because I realize how stupid it is. It's very ignorant to believe that you have to be sounding one way, dog. That's the truth. Furthermore, that is not what music is. You know what I mean? So, and Shea clearly don't follow that pattern. Shea believes in like trying different things. Shea believe in being multidisciplinary, believes in being versatile. You know what I mean? He don't get stuck in a single pocket. You know what I mean? And I really appreciate that, and that's made me feel better about myself too. Like it shows me that other people got the same mindset in the sense that yo, I want to expand my horizons. I want to try different things. I want to push the limits. I want to go in different boundaries. You know what I mean? So big up Shares for real. Big up Share, man. That my guy. Real thing. Next on the list, I believe this is number 6. I ain't too sure. This gotta be number 6 though, that's truth. Number 6, 9. 9 on the beat. 9, one of the funniest niggas I know, dog. One of the funniest, like I meet 9 once, talked to her a few times after that, but 9 gonna be one of the funniest niggas I know. This ain't even got nothing to do with production. They're just telling one of my funniest guy. Like true. You get one session with 9 in the studio and you can be laughing about this guy, dog. The man always got some fucking story to tell. But I digress. Back to the music. 9 is a man that does work like how to put it, very under the radar. Like 9 is some boy to me that you would just see he name or he face all over the place. Like you. The man's so under the radar, but he's one of them that under the radar but just do a lot of work. You know what I mean? He responsible for a lot of your favorite tunes. You know what I mean? You might want your shit on a man name because you don't know who he is, but your favorite song probably get produced by 9 though. Like put some respect on my nigga name though. Like you know what I'm saying? He prefer to be low key from what I see and from what I gather. And truth be told, if he wanted more exposure, he could get it. That's the thing. Like, and to say like, no boy don't care about the man. Like, if 9 wanted to be on the scene more and wanted more recognition in terms of like this podcast shit or this music shit on the radio, like, he could. But I think the man pretty comfortable in his space right now. And the reason he on this list is because, like I just said earlier, a lot of one of my favorite songs over the last year or two, 9 produced it or co-produced it. That's the truth. From Brawling by my man Father Phil, like, you know what I'm saying? Brawling, Whoopsie, Visa by Island Levy and SK, Outside by Benny Cartier, and too much more to mention, dog. Like, come on, like, Visa by Island Levy, let me mention that again. Like, one of the hardest tunes to me that went so under the radar, that went unnoticed. But if you want to talk about bigger things that do millions of views, Brawling, big man, like, come on, dog. Like, that's 9, B. don't play with my nigga like that, B. But real thing, though, like, I think two way is be such an attraction to me is that when you that low key, but putting in that sort of work it shows like once you head down and you putting in that work, dog, like who the hell could be better than you? You know what I'm saying? And you don't even got a point to prove to nobody on like a big scale, like a popularity scale. It's just showing like, hey, let my work speak for itself. So real thing, I got a big up name for this, dog. For being as low key as you just be, I know you probably ain't want the shout out, but you can get it, big brother. You can get it. Real thing. On to number 5. I think we are. This is either number 5 or number. Yeah, we are number 5. We are number 5. Pasta Herbs. Pasta Herbs. This beat was made by Pasta Herbs. I think that's he produced it. I can't remember. Some electronic sounding woman. Listen, Pasta Herbs is somebody that I work alongside with a handful of times. And I talk to often. More than a handful of times. But and although he really known for his instrumentals, I just normally go to Herbs for mixing and mastering. That's truth. But regardless, though, I think Herbs is one of the most versatile on production. Yeah, I mentioned the word versatile a lot. Anyway, we get it. But if we really want to break down the versatility, Herbs probably is the most versatile on production on this list. I can say that. Let me say that. The man got the ability to go from dancehall to trap to even the more alternative styles of hip hop. Sometimes you would hear all them elements from different genres in a single instrumental. You know what I mean? And somehow that could work against you, but somehow he just find a way to make it seem like all these different songs is supposed to be together rather than different genres or rather than separately. You know what I mean? And that's a real talent, because you don't want things to just be sounding like it gets slapped together. You know what I mean? Who the hell does want food like that, dog? You want the things to look like if the make sense being on that same plate. You know, he's trying to show you. So I would really say that he's been also extremely consistent this year. But honestly, Herb's been consistent for a minute now. It ain't like Herb started this thing yesterday, and I could see he being on this list year after year after year. Honestly, Herb's done take you for off your gas, just that's truth. I personally believe he's one of the main reasons for, again, one of the biggest artists of 2021, Big Brother Plu. I'll say it again. Argue with your mother. You know what I'm saying? Don't argue with me, argue with your mother, big man. The biggest artist of 2021, I think that Herb's responsible for that. I'm not trying to take anything away from Plu, you know what I mean? Never at all. But personally, I believe Plu elevation this year onto that next step came from the work that Pastor Herbs did. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to take nothing away from Plu. I don't want to sound like if I'm being rude or nothing at all, right? Just, you know what I mean? Real thing. But yeah, with the amount of quality Herbs is give you, you can't possibly fall short either. That's all I'm saying. If Herbs give me a beat, like, I cannot possibly fail it. Just that good. You know what I mean? And the man got a real positive energy about it. You know what I mean? And that's why men like he is gonna make lists like this. Real thing. On to the next man. I think we're number 4, 3, 2. I think we got number 3. Yeah. Anyway, Chris Rose. Chris Rose on the beat. You know what I'm saying? Chris Rose not necessarily a name that always in your face like the others, but then at the same time, yeah, depending on the artist. But anyway, right, definitely one of the most influential producers coming out of Barbados, and I use that word instrumental heavily. I think when it comes to hip hop and Barbados, Chris is one of the faces of the indie production scene. One of the best albums of the year by my brother Tef Hinkson, called Get Up Good. Damn near every song on that masterpiece was some Chris Rose craftsmanship, the ugly. Real thing. Chris is one of the few Bajan-born producers to be recognized on the Billboard charts as well for his multi-platinum records, most notably on A Boogie's Hoodie Season project. Like, come on, B. Where I think Rose the standout amongst the rest is with the sampling. To be honest, I realized this on Tef's project again, Get Up Good album, which y'all should really check out. It's available now for free on YouTube as well. It's one thing to be able to use a sample, and I said this in my review for Tef's album as well. It's one thing to be able to use a sample just for the sake of using it. It's another thing to make sure that the sample complements the purpose of the track. You know what I mean? Like, for me, a sample has to make sense. And I think Chris understands that. We ain't even really talking about the production, But sampling is saying that I feel Beijing should do a lot more when it comes to production, and I think Chris understands sampling down to a T, knowing what he's saying should go here, and then how to make a beat which makes sense. Like, you gotta listen to the Get Up Good album to understand what I'm telling you. But if you want to listen to Hoodie Season and the songs that or the song, I can't remember how many, but the song that Chris Rose contributed on A Boogie's project, you will see what I mean. This man is not a joke, This man is not a joke. Like, he's literally one of the most, again, like how I describe Shay, polished. My work so polished, and you don't fuck around. He does not fuck around. Number 2 on this list, I realized I was actually at number 3 with Chris Rose. So number 2 on this list, boy, Maximus, Full Clip Entertainment, alongside David Ann. One, I should have probably seen this coming. Like, I listen, this list does not just have dancehall or anything so upon it. This list got some of everybody on it. It just went from Chris Rose to Maximus B. 2 vastly different genres and 2 vastly different producers. Listen to me. The Control rhythm, the Guardian Angel rhythm, the Rough Treatment rhythm by Brutal Crankstar. Like, honestly, this could be my number 1 pick, and I don't even think it would be a problem. I ain't trying to single out Maximus from Full Clip Entertainment in a bad mind way or anything, so, but truthfully, I just want to give that boy Maximus the flowers right now. You know what I mean? Saying a lot of people don't like to do is to show appreciation, to show respect. You know what I mean? So, fuck that. I give him Maximus the flowers right now. Couple daisies, couple tulips, maybe a buttercup or 2. Maximus holding flowers right now for the work he been doing. Not just this year, not just last year, not just the year before that. Just for as long as Maximus been on the scene, Maximus always impresses me. That is just the straight up truth. In terms of, like, if you want to be certified on the next Surf Rap promo, get Maximus to do beat for you. Like, ain't a two trick, but don't mix matters. Don't mix matters. The man know how to sit down here, right, and single out a beat that is going to, like, get the people hype. You know what I'm saying? Ain't a silly man just give you a beat and say, go on without it, I can do good, and then it don't do good. If you tell Maximus, look, I really want to get up on our next promo, and they want something that can really help me express my musical skills, right? The man is gonna give you something that you cannot possibly fail on, dog. And that's why, listen to me, every time you hear a beat nowadays on a promo, right, or upon your radio, or upon some boy flash drive, you can't do in the Swift or whatever, not disrespect he says Swift man or name, but you can hear Quan the artist voice there upon your producer tag, Maximus, I think it's Quan the artist, yeah, Full Clip, like, Maximus is beyond everything, big man, everything. And speaking of everything, if he ain't on everything, you know who this be on everything? My number 1 spot, CJ. But ain't like when I didn't know that CJ was gonna be number 1. Let me be real. Ain't like when I didn't know CJ was gonna be number 1. Like, who else I can put at number 1 when it comes to the Asian producers? Be like, it got to be CJ. It got to be. It has to be. There ain't no other person. If I had to put anybody else there, it would be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, it went without saying. It went without saying. Any list that concerns producers locally or regionally, CJ to me has to be at number 1. Other than that, you could argue Kelly Beats if you want to talk regionally, but for me, CJ. You know what I mean? Between the 808 Massacre album, the Telescope rhythm, the Cool Air rhythm, the Half Beast rhythm, but I could keep going on and on and on about these rhythms, big man, but whether you like it or not, you got to respect it, dog. That's what men understand. You don't gotta like somebody, but you gotta respect them, though. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't respect them, well, fuck off. Straight up. CJ is easily, listen, consistency, versatility, experimental ability. Like, CJ know what it takes, big man. CJ knows what it takes, and he got a good team around you. That's the other thing too. Everybody at Star Point Productions, I think, on the same wavelengths to understand what it takes, big man. To understand what it means to get music on a big scale, dog. And you can't come in there with a half-ass music and feel that you can hop on a beat like that. And you know what I mean? Like, nah, CJ had to be my number 1 pick. And like I tell you, I don't have a number 10 pick, so I really only named 9 people. I probably fuck up the order as I was talking, figuring out the numbers. But yeah, for sure the number 1 spot is CJ. Number 2 is Maximus. Yeah, we can just go back, don't you? Number 3 is Chris Rose. Number 4, Pastor Herbs. Number 5, 9. Number 6, Shears. Number 7, Chasmatic. Number 8, Corrupt. And number 9, Lex Luisi. An honorable mention, or a couple honorable mentions, not saying that these will be my number 10 spots, But if I were to give some honorable mentions, Nick Jr., that's another one I want to check out. He ain't really dropped a lot of stuff this year, but Nick Jr. is somebody who I think does do a good, like, got a real quality work. And if he was to drop more projects, I feel like his name will be up there with a Maximus or so. And another one that y'all probably not gonna know for the people that watching this, Kid's World. I never actually met him. Honestly, I don't think I met any of these men here, like, face to face that I talk about. But he is more of a, you know what I mean, hip-hop, hip-hop, rap type of producer. You know what I mean? Some more alternative, slower styles as well. Guitar strings, pianos. You know what I mean? He's another one who I think is extremely talented. Don't get the recognition I think he deserves. I think when it comes to more rap styles, that's where he fit in. That's more he pocket. You know what I'm saying? But because I never heard him do anything dancehall or anything so. But he's another one that I think, again, even if I don't put him on the list, he's one that I had to mention just because of the consistency and the actual quality of the work he just put in. A Kid's World, I think that's the actual name, Kid's World, or A Kid's World. You could just check it out on IG or whatever. And Nick Jr., like I tell you, Nick Jr. is a man that worked with some of your favorite artists, from Malice, La Boss, you know what I mean, straight down the wire. What the other fella name? Rick. Yeah, all them guys, man, and a lot of people that I ain't mentioned right now. So yeah, that's basically end of my list right now. This has been my first episode about the Finesse Podcast. I know it probably, I don't know if y'all like this episode. I don't know, just give me some feedback. I worked pretty hard all month and a bit of last month on this list. It's been something on my mind for a while that I wanted to do coming down to the end of the year. And I really, it feels good to be back in front of the microphone. That's true. It feels good to be back in front of the microphone. I can't sit down here and deny it. So I appreciate everybody for just checking up on me and wondering how things going. And I plan to really get myself back with some consistency as well and putting out content for the peoples, man, because I know a lot of people really respect my opinion, and I didn't realize that at first, but a lot of people generally respect my opinion. So, and I don't sit down here and half-heartedly do my rating. I just take this thing very serious as well. So I just decided I can come back and show a lot of respect to these producers. I was going to talk about artists, and I could still do that if I'm interested, but I just tell myself, man, let me just do a list here and really give some appreciation to the men who I know have been putting in our work for a while, especially these last 2 years. So yeah, man, big shout out to everybody that made the list. Big shout out to the men that didn't make the list, and we can see how things go. If you listen, hit me up, tell me what you want to see next from me, and we really can get this Finesse Podcast train rolling. My goal is really to get a segment on the radio, get a segment on the TV, you know what I mean, so we can really take this entertainment industry to another level, really get the money flowing in this entertainment industry for a lot of people who would love to do music as a full-time thing down here, you know what I mean, because let me be real, like I said earlier, the music industry in Barbados and the entertainment industry in Barbados, really, it seems really very selective about who they want to succeed, and yeah, it's kind of hard to work through. So listen, I put in the responsibility on my back to see if I could make something happen going forward, you know what I mean? So I can need y'all help as well doing that. Support me as I support y'all. You know what I mean? Let my first goal be to have either my own article or my own blog in the newspaper, or have my own segment on a radio station, so I can really, really put some light on the people down here that putting in that work. So that's the truth. So anyway, let me start rambling. And that is the Finesse Podcast. Finesse!
Walk out with me gun in your hand. Last Springfield or this Smith and Wesson. Any boy this time fi stink and rotten. Escape pick head off a neck like cotton. Nozzle smart like few minivan. Rifle long like the hair pan Rapunzel. Shotting that phone and record. Post him up on the ground, call me bad fucking retard. Collect dollar cry like reward. Dead bodies is Cara Award. Nurse in a hospital straight to the mark. Pussy what don't tell your girl. Then this and then that, yeah. Run up on me and get the drama drop in the head.